All right, party people in the place to be, vandals and everybody else out there lurking in their detective clubhouses. This is a brand new episode of How'd We Get Here, and tonight we are talking about the Netflix adaptation of the DC Vertigo wonderful miniseries, several miniseries, I guess, Dead Boy Detectives. We're going to get into all that in a minute, but first we're going to do our check-in. Boy, does Joseph have one. Joe, go ahead and run with it, man. It's been a while since we've done an episode, and I know you've amassed some treasure.
Yep, I got this, which I won't do it. I'm going to crack this open. I got a Ghost Rider #1. It's graded a 2 on 10, and I'm going to crack it open. I guess a lot of people were all like, "Why would you do that?" I was like, "Why wouldn't I?" I mean,
it's a 2, anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I collect comics to I want to look at it, man. I'm not buying something to fucking not look at it. So, one of the episodes, I think, I don't know when we're going to be doing it. I'll do it on the next episode we record. I've been looking
Tuesday. Next big Tuesday, you'll crack the coffin.
Yeah, I'll on our next big Tuesday, I'll crack open this Ghost Rider #1. Yeah, I looked at a few YouTube videos, so I got a good idea on how to open it. So
cool.
Yeah, so I have that came in. What else did I get?
Use Dynamite.
I got the Crow #3.
Nice.
Pick that up.
Slowly getting all 4 of the Caliber issues. Awesome.
Yeah. I picked up these. I've been wanting these for a while.
Yeah, man. Some Phil Hester goodness, man, from
The Wretch by Phil Hester. I found it at a reasonable price and the shipping and everything, so it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. So that's cool. I picked that up. I've been looking at this one on eBay for probably a couple years now. I keep checking every once in a while, and then I found one that the 2 for $35 Canadian plus shipping. So I was like, sold. So all the other ones were selling for anywhere between 30 to 40 each plus shipping, and I was like, I ain't paying that. But then I found that was pretty good. That's basically the price plus
for
shipping.
One.
So,
yeah.
So it was worth it. I finished reading Eddie Current by Ted McKeever. The 12-issue run of that. I finished reading that. That was pretty fun.
Also, if anybody that listens to the show knows how to get a hold of Ted, please let us know. We're dying to talk to him. There's several questions Joe and I have for him. So, if anybody knows how to get a hold of him to maybe get him on the show, we would.
I already sent an email through the Image. The person you get into touch with there at Image to get into contact with creators, but I haven't heard back. And it's been about a month now, so I figured after a month, if they don't reply, I probably don't expect a reply anytime soon. So yeah, if anyone, we'd love to talk to Ted, talk about comics and stuff. I know he just does art now. He's a fine artist now. He just does stuff like that. He doesn't really do much comic work anymore, but still,
I'm pretty sure he'd like to talk about the old days, because I would love to talk to him mostly about his Vertigo work. You know what I mean? That's what I know him best for. And
yeah, I think when I went and checked, I did when I was digging to try to find contact info, an email or a website I could get in touch with him. I saw some interviews come up, and I think the last interview he did that I saw on Google was maybe 2006. So he's been kind of
damn, yeah, incommunicado is the term.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so continuing, I got this is something I've been wanting to read for a really long time, and I used up my final gift cards at Indigo, and I picked this one up with what I had left on my gift cards. So I've started the second arc. Really fun stuff. Man, if you like bloody, gory, action-packed comics, this will fucking definitely scratch that itch. I mean, a lot of action. There's
Kick-Ass meets Friday the 13th, right? Pretty much is the best way to...
Yeah. It's like if you
maybe
love
a little
gore,
Hellraiser in there too. Yeah.
If you're a gore hound, but not this isn't a horror book, but man, it is gory. So if you're a gore hound and you like that type of shit, and you like, basically it's like mixing action movie with a gore horror movie, like a mash of the two.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ichi the Killer, but like not as sexually charged. But like, yeah, that
Yeah.
like that type of Japanese film that was coming out around
Yeah.
that time, 2000, the really
Yeah.
gory like action
Like,
films.
yeah. What was the shot I sent you? Just to give you an idea. I don't think it was too far, was it?
Yeah, but Thad Moore's art in it is like, yeah, go ahead and flash some up, man. Just pick a random page. The whole book is gorgeous, dude. You're bound to hit a splash somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah. There's a splash where is it? Well, here. This just goes to show you. This is Luther Strode fighting, and this is what he looks like when he fights. That's his costume's not red.
Yeah.
Just to he doesn't have a red costume. It's black and gray. But yeah, let's see. Where's the one where he punches through the guy's head? Like stuff like that. I mean, he punches through people's heads. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And we're probably going to do a whole episode as soon as Joe finishes. We're going to do a retrospect.
That's a bit of a spoiler, but here I won't let you see the face and stuff or the name. But that's like,
he was a true one, man. That's a real friend right there, man. God damn.
Yeah.
Great book. Stuff. Yeah. That almost brings a tear to your eye. That scene, really.
Yeah.
We're gonna get all into that, man. And I don't know, about maybe a month when Joe gives Joe a little time to finish and
see, like a guy just slices the guy straight in half with a sword. This is when they go back and talk about the whole
powers and how it works, pretty much.
Yeah, like his ancestry on why he has these powers and all this stuff, and it's like
it's a real different take on the superhero story, like because it's just done with such gore and horror. You know what I mean?
Like people who like the gory, brutal aspects of Invincible, this is done much cooler.
Oh, it's a little bit like the show we're going to talk about tonight too, in a way. And I could see Luther Strode as probably a Vertigo comic if it was released a good 2 decades before.
Mm-hmm. Next up,
Joe is having connection problems tonight, and we're just going to roll with it. I think he sounds legible. It's just a little choppy. So like there was a question in the chat, and I just was
Yeah, I know. I've been having problems with the iPhone, so I have to go back to my old phone, which is choppy. So anyway, I'll get that resolved tomorrow. I'm supposed to go to the phone company and figure out what the fuck's going on with that. Because I can't open apps up on my phone anymore. I don't know what's going on. Won't take my password, so now I'm on my old Samsung. Anyway. Then I picked up the slipcase for Dementia.
Beautiful. 21 by Shintaro Kago. Oh, dude. Like, if you're a person that has anger with the healthcare system in any country, this book's a lot of fun because that's basically what it's about. This nurse and her weird travels through, like, the Japanese healthcare community, and, like, she has to treat kaiju and, like, these crazy old people with, like, in a techno war between, like, their senior pavilions. Like, oh dude, it's a lot of fun, man. Shintaro Kago, he's a character, man. And like a good thing is this book's good and funny, and it's not horrific and grotesque like some of his work. So yeah, like Dementia 21's good stuff, man.
Yeah. And I've continued reading the omnibus of X Factor, and I'm up to the Messiah Complex part now, the crossover. So we'll probably be talking about that on
whole bunch of big Tuesdays, man. We're going to be talking about X Factor, and we're going to do a whole one about the Messiah Complex, because in my opinion, that is probably the last great event Marvel put out, man. Honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's pretty much my check-in.
Did you watch anything?
Yeah, The Old Man with Jeff Bridges. I started watching that. Well, we finished it today, actually.
What's that on? I haven't heard that. So
that's FX. So that'd be on Disney or FX, depending on
Hulu.
Here. Yeah, Hulu. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll look into that. Is it a comedy or like more of kind of like a drama?
It's a drama action, kind of like he's a special ops and it goes
Okay.
into his past. It's like he's old and retired, and then he has to come out of retirement type story because something happens, and his identity gets figured out. So he has to dust off the old chops. Yeah, it's pretty good. His age, it's crazy to see him do with those action scenes like that at his age. It's got John Lithgow in it as well.
Cool.
Who's the other girl? There's
So it's kind
another
of
girl.
it's like a serious version of Red a little bit, then, huh?
Yeah, pretty
Bunch of old
much. Yeah,
people being badasses. Cool.
yeah. They are old. The whole cast is old. Let's see. Who's the girl
Yeah,
I like?
John Lithgow was old when I was a kid. Like I remember when I was little, he was the fucking preacher in Footloose. You know what I mean? Like that dude's always
Yeah.
been.
You got Bill Heck, who plays the younger version of Jeff Bridges' character. And man, if they're casting X-Men, I'd cast him as Cyclops. He's
Yeah.
got that Cyclops look to him. Amy
So he
Brenneman is
looks
in
like a dick. That's awesome.
it.
He looks like an ass munch.
Yeah, Amy Brenneman is the other girl that's in it. She's good. I like her as an actress. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
it's
we're
not too,
watching that.
and I like FX shows, man. Like they've had a couple of
Mhm.
my favorites of all time, man. Justified, Legion, The Strain. I mean, like I like FX shows a lot.
Mhm.
What was the cop one with the bald guy? The Shield. That was all right.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's my check. And you have anything then?
No, not really, man. Like, I kind of had some personal stuff. That's why I took the week off. And aside from
Yeah.
watching Dead Boy Detectives and a couple things, no, not really, man. Like, I finally got to see Godzilla -1, and we'll probably talk
Oh,
about that more. Yeah, it's as
where
good as
the
everybody said.
where is it available to stream?
It's kind of not. But the
Ah,
Japanese
that's
Blu-ray
okay. That's
up
what.
came out.
Okay, got you. That's why I read on Twitter. It's like the most pirated within a half an hour. It was written. No, but I mean, people were complaining about it because it's the most pirated movie. It took a half an hour to become the most pirated movie in the world.
That's why I was kind of like trying to keep it down. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Well, everyone's been watching it. I'm like, someone else on
I
Twitter
don't
was
see
watching it.
stuff in theaters and it's not available on DVD over here yet. I'm sorry, Toho. Like I love you guys, and if it was available to me to pay to watch, I'd have did it. But like you didn't afford me that opportunity.
Okay, it's not. Yeah, that's what I meant. I thought maybe you could rent it somewhere, like streaming one of the American services, but I guess not then. So everyone. So now there must be an HD because I saw it.
Yeah, no, the Japanese Blu-ray's out.
Okay, so that's why there's a high definition one out now.
Yeah, it's available on.
Well, hey man, like, what are you gonna do if? I mean, I want to see it too. I'll probably end up watching it pirated if they don't release it for rent on streaming and stuff. I mean, everyone's talking about it. Why should I not be able to watch it?
Yeah, we went there this episode.
Like you said, I'll give you money. Just
yeah, I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray when it comes out. I just wanted to see it. God damn it.
yeah, that's it. I want to give you give it to me. I'll give you money for it. Just I don't know. Maybe it'll come. Maybe I don't know. I heard it wasn't translated yet, or the Blu-ray doesn't have subtitles on it or some shit. I don't know. Some people were complaining.
That's easy hack. That's easy.
Yeah.
You just go to the fan sub site, man. Those exist too,
Yeah.
where you just.
Hey.
And wow, yeah, we're going there this episode. Like, let's talk about Dead Boy Detectives. Shit, I shouldn't have had a check-in. I should have just stayed quiet. Like,
yeah.
Dead Boy Detectives on Netflix, and
Yeah.
damn, dude, I'm gonna just go ahead and spoilers for my review. I absolutely fucking loved this show. I thought it was gonna be okay, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have much hype for it at all. And by the first episode, end, I was just like, fuck yes! The people that did this show get it. And the funny thing is this was actually made for HBO Max. This wasn't made for Netflix. This wasn't made by the same people that made Sandman. It just accidentally turned out almost as good as the Sandman show did. And I think it's kind of almost a sad and bad look for James Gunn's DC universe that they were going to just use this as a tax write-off and let David Zaslav buy it if Netflix didn't pick it up and be like, hey, no, we could just put a couple scenes in there and tie this to Sandman, and yeah, we'll take it.
Which they did, which was awesome.
Yeah, the just 2-3 scenes, right? And that's all they needed, and they didn't get too zealous. I think they edited a couple episodes a bit to where they cut, I think, some parts out to make it jive more with what they're going to be doing with it in the future. But I think that I think all in all, it just was a situation that worked out well for everybody. Man, like this show just hits that Vertigo groove. The people who wrote this show really, really got what made the old comics so fun and special. The types of characters that were in them. I mean, they didn't. It's not a one-to-one adaptation. They did their own versions of a lot of characters you may have seen pop up in one of the. But like, dude, people like Tragic Mick the Walrus and Monty the Crow and like all just the weird the Night Nurse. Like they perfect representations of shit right out of those 90s and 2000s comics that really just were so special and wonderful at the time. And it's great to see. It's great to see like an adaptation that I don't think really anybody had any faith in, to tell you the truth. I don't think either of the networks really thought that this was going to, and I don't know if it's catching fire or not, but like I really hope it is, because I think that this show is something special.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Like we talked in the chats. The first half I loved. Was great, and I thought it dragged a little bit in the second half, but it was still very good. But that first half, what is it? It's 8 episodes, I believe, and the first 4 or 5 episodes, loved it. Loved the characters. Love the dynamic between the two main characters of Edward and Charles. Like I think their chemistry is excellent. It's perfect right from the get-go. They feel like friends guys that have been friends forever, right? Like good stuff. Like the casting is great. All the characters, I don't think there was a single character in there that I didn't like or that I didn't think they hit the mark with the casting. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There was nobody where I was watching like, why the fuck is this person on screen? You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed everybody. And I get what you mean a little bit. There are several places where like normal shows would have ended the season and this one just kind of kept going. But I think that it was cool that they wanted to finish this story in case they didn't get season 2. They didn't want to leave anything in the air with the witch, and you know what I mean? Like, and it is kind of neat because like with most shows the season, you kind of get what feels like a trade paperback, whereas the whole season of Dead Boy Detectives feels like you got a whole run. You got like a whole 48 issue story out of this show, because each case would have been like a 4 or 5 issue comic. You know what I mean? So like it is jam packed, and I see what you mean. I don't know if it dragged. I just think that you thought that they could have maybe saved some of that for later episodes, but I think that they didn't do that because I think that they thought that like they had this shot to take and they needed to, in case it didn't catch, try to get the whole story. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that, because I hate being left on tenterhooks. And there is, like with Nico, there is kind of a cliffhanger.
Nico was great. I love that character.
Oh my God, wasn't she just so adorable? Dude.
It is. You know what it is, though? I think maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm prejudiced or whatever. But if she was a white blonde chick, I'd find her so fucking annoying. But because she's an Asian girl, I found it cute and adorable. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I loved it when her hair too. Great. The platinum. Oh, so
on
good.
Her outfits, man. All one solid color the whole time. Like,
yeah. Just she's so innocent too, right? She's so yeah.
But gangster when she has to be, when she came running up with the crowbar. In the third episode with the haunted house, like, oh, dude, all the cases were so cool. Like, there's a lot, and I love that they did the Scooby with the pan lid and just the crowbar, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And you mentioned Night Nurse, Ruth, played by Ruth Connell.
I squealed when she showed up on the show because I loved her as Rowena on Supernatural.
Yeah.
When she showed up on here, I was just like, oh, I love that lady. She is fucking insane. And like, oh, dude, you could tell she brought a lot of levity to the cast. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And you could tell they all had fun working together when she
yeah.
was.
And another great character that I enjoyed every scene she was in was the witch, played by Esther Finch, played by the character, the witch's name is Esther Finch, but the actress is called Jen Leon.
Her speech pattern was so great because she sounded like one of those ladies that's drunk by like 12 in the morning.
Yeah,
And she just talks like that the whole time, though. But darling, like she,
yeah.
she never
With a
breaks
limp,
it, dude. Yeah,
the little limp she has when she walks too, it's just perfect. Like she has her character down. It's fantastic. Love it. Yeah.
yeah. She was almost like a John Waters character. I could have seen her in Pink Flamingos a little bit. You know what I mean? Type of feel to her.
The
Uh,
Cat King, the Cat King. Pat and I were watching it, and I was like, this guy looks familiar. I couldn't put my finger on it. He was one of the bouncers from Roadhouse.
okay, that was him. He was the one
Yeah,
that he stepped back and then punch him. I
yeah,
also
exactly. Yeah,
I also thought in this he hella looked like Kiefer Sutherland in Lost Boys. I was like, dude, they could do a fucking prequel to the Lost Boys right
oh,
now and have this guy play David and like
that's true.
definitely
He
like
had that same mannerisms, eh? Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that. That's spot on, man. That's
And he was funny, man. I thought that like he actually kind of acted like a cat. You know what I mean? Like I thought that
hmm
and his sexual. Oh, well, he's ambiguous in like every way. You know what I mean? Just like
yeah,
like he lived it though. He was a really fun character.
yeah. Oh, the dandelion sprites.
Oh, dude, like there is nobody that you didn't fucking enjoy being on
Yeah,
screen. Yeah,
yeah.
the dandelion sprites. You had what was David the Demon, who like should have been the
Yeah,
biggest douche in the show, but I enjoyed him too because he had that weird little hat, like a Hanna Barbera character, and yeah, and the kid that
the
played him, like he was just gloriously over the top, and
and the butcher, the one who
uh,
owns the Jenny
Ginny the
Green,
Butcher was the perfect straight man, dude, because she had no idea
Brianna, yeah,
what was going
played
on with.
Kruko, Brianna Kruko. Anyway, she was pretty good. Yeah, I liked her. Like we said, everyone was great. The Walrus guy, played by Michael Beach,
Yeah,
Mike,
Tragic
or
Mick.
Tragic Mick. Yeah. Oh, he was so good. I loved him.
Every
Yeah,
scene with him, he is probably my favorite character in this show.
yeah.
He ended up being the hero. You know what I mean? He
The
helped him.
facial hair is great. Like
You
it
should
was
grow that,
perfect with
Joe.
like the barnacles. Yeah, yeah. The what is that called when you have like the mustache that goes right into the
I always
like
just
it
called it
is
the walrus mustache. So like it was perfect
the
that they gave
walrus?
it to him because he was a walrus. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah.
And his story was so sad. You know what I mean? And Nico was the only one that listened to him. Everybody else was just like, man, can you shut up? Like even Charles, who is nice, he's like, yeah, mate. Like what we're trying to say is, can you help us faster? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Now that you bring up Charles, played by Jaden Reverie, I'm not familiar with him, but I thought he was fantastic. Great.
yeah, and
Oh,
he was perfectly cast because like you couldn't help but like the little fucker. I
mhm.
usually have a standoffishness about pretty boys, but like I kind of just thought he was cool right away. You know what I mean? I'd have
But
probably
he was
been friends with
made
him.
him an old punk, from back in the day when he was a kid. I like that
Yeah,
touch with
kind of like
the
a ska mod type kid. Yeah,
yeah,
or Mr.
exactly.
Cool, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. With the patches on his
Parka,
military jacket. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And fuck, great weapon, man. The
the magic
croquet
trick
and
with that.
yeah, love that. Oh, so good. Makes for such awesome scenes when he just points it or when he pulls it out of the bag. It's cool. It's yeah, that was a great choice. The magic croquet, that, and then Edwin Pine, played by George
Rex
uh,
stew, right?
Rextrew. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with either one of
Oh,
those
I don't
actors.
I
So,
don't know anybody from this show,
mhm,
and I loved all of them. So, oh no, I knew Rowena, and
mhm,
I know the girl that played Death. I mean, I've seen a couple of the older actors, but like all the actual stars of the show, like yeah, I'd seen the Cat King, I guess, in Roadhouse. You know what I mean? But like he was,
mhm.
I mean, he was a good part in that though. Like, and that shows he's got range because like I in Roadhouse, I wouldn't have seen him, following that up as the Cat King. Like
Yeah, yeah. Despair. They bring despair and death into it, so definitely direct connections. And I love that it was the same actresses that from the Sandman
Dude,
series.
and despair is probably the most terrifying thing in the show. Like the scene
Mm.
with her and Edwin. Oh my god, it's horrific the way she's just like cutting her hand and like incessantly watching the mirrors, just like into it. Like, oh, dude, like one of the most off-putting of the endless, and like they just nailed it, man. Like, because there's a lot going on in that hell episode. Because she shows up in the episode where Charles has to go and get Edwin back from the demons and shit, and like, oh, dude, like Edwin ends up going through one of his mirrors and runs into that's kind of a thing that they did in this show. They gave them powers, which it's a bit of a adaptation from the book, but I liked it. I liked that Charles had the Felix the cat bag, which is always fun to
Mm-hmm.
see. And then
Mm-hmm.
Edwin could travel between mirrors. You know what I mean? They kind of had, and I thought that was fine. You know what I mean? Like
I love the traveling between mirrors thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, so like the things that they did change from the comics, I really kind of appreciated. I like that they made them a little older. I don't think I would have loved the show as much as if it was about 13-year-olds. You know what I mean? I think that would have
Mm-hmm.
had its own charm to it. I think I could have maybe got through it, but I think it would have been a little harder, like kind of like how the Sweet Tooth show is. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the detriments is that they aged down Gus in that, which made it harder for
Mm-hmm.
me to kind of sit through because like no offense, but like I'm pretty sure like that people think that that kid's talented, but like I don't think I, I don't know. I find him hard to sit through. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
I find him a detriment to the show. So I like that they wisely kind of made them older teenagers instead of younger teenagers because British boarding schools had them all the way up until they were 21, I think, right? In Edwin's day, I think by the time Charles was around, it was 18. But
Yeah. And those two guys do a fantastic job. Like I
yeah,
said,
dude, that kid that plays Edwin, like he's maybe 19, but like he acts like he's like 70 years old. He is like the most like buttoned up, just chop like type guy, and like it's incredible the way he pulls it off because you'd swear that like you're like listening to a 50-year-old man speak, and it's this baby faced boy. You know what I mean? Like that's good acting in my opinion. You know what I mean?
and Crystal Palace is the psychic in it that they take on her case, and that's played by Cassis Nelson.
Yeah.
She does a great job too. Like there isn't a bad performance in the entire series.
Well, I mean, like there's a lot of times in the show you're kind of like, man, you're kind of an asshole. And like as you get to the end of the show, there's a reason for it. And it's kind of really cleverly. I love. It's really cleverly played out for you. You find out who she is and why she kind of is the way she is, and like, and it's got a cool kind of almost Guy Ritchie type ironic twist to it all. So like, I kind of really like the way that the show doesn't just tell you their backstories right away. You slowly get fed it, which is kind of a gutsy move, especially with such a lesser known property like the Dead Boy Detectives. But I think it played off perfectly. Them showing them on cases, doing their thing, and then being like, okay, this is why. At first they're like, okay, this is why Edwin's so uptight. This is what happened to him. And then a little later they're like, okay, and this is why Charles puts on a brave face. You know what I mean? And then like they kind of show you more and more as you need to learn more about them. And I love that they did that kind of an adaptation instead of just jumping right off the bat like these kids died horrifically. You know what I mean? Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
other adaptations kind of do
Mm-hmm.
jump right into
And,
the origin.
yeah, and I know Cookie watched it and she loved it. And as soon as she was done, she started watching Sandman right away because she hadn't watched Sandman yet. So she hit Sandman right away after watching this because she loved it. And like we're talking, the tone, like I was like, it's not a YA, and then we came to like, yeah, like mature YA, mature young adult. Yeah, I'd say it's mature young adult. If I had to rate it, it's not mature and it's not young adult. It kind of falls somewhere in between.
For me, like it falls right into that perfect Vertigo mature comic of the 90s feel. You know what I mean? That's how they read, like how this book is. You know what I mean? And another thing that I liked is that they were really kind of there is some sexual tension in the show, definitely, but like there is very little sexuality in the show. There's a couple kisses that are shared, but there's
Mhm.
no outright like sex scenes or you know what I mean? And like a few relationships are hinted at, but like nothing actually happens in this season. I kind of appreciated that it was actually kind of more about them being friends with each other and
Mhm.
like having to work as a team more than like okay yeah like because you know that a couple of the characters in the show do have like really strong feelings for each other and they do make those feelings known and like it doesn't then they still stay friends too and I like that about it man because you can do that in real
Mhm.
life and like a lot of pop media will try to tell you otherwise you know what I mean but like you can be friends with somebody that you like in more than one way you know what I mean
Mhm. Mhm.
and I think that that's kind of brave storytelling, like especially with nowadays how overly sexual a lot of TV shows are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and with how
Yeah.
young the cast is too, I'm kind of happy they didn't go too crazy with it because, like, I don't know if these kids were actually 16, but I believe that they were. They looked
Yeah.
like they were, and that's how old they were saying that they were. So, like, I didn't want to see them in too much of an embrace, anyways. You know?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Like they even like when she goes to rent the place, she's like, "How old are you?" And she's like, I'm not supposed to rent. You're a minor. You can't rent it here." And then kind of how they come like, so they remind you that they're teenagers, right? So.
Yeah, Nico like basically had to drop out of high school because of being haunted by the sprites that were living inside of her until they trapped him in a jar. And dude, two of the small characters, but like some of the funniest. And I think they're probably if there is a second season, which I really hope. That's why we're doing this episode. Like I want to get as many people as I can to watch this show because this is the type of stuff we need more of in the comic book sphere. You know what I mean? People that are tired of superhero shit, like own up to it and give this show a chance because this is the other side of comic books done brilliantly on film and like it's worth checking out.
Mhm. Mhm.
If
For
you
sure.
love comic books and you're tired of the superhero stuff, like this is the alternative, and it's a damn good one, people.
Or even if you don't read comics, it's a good show. Like if you liked, let's say, Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, or
Or
something
Supernatural, if you
supernatural. Yeah, it has like similar vibes to those two shows. It's like I said,
you
it's
like
not like
if you like old Scooby Doo too, if you could like old Scooby Doo and wanted it gorier, like yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's it. It's like you take those CW shows, but you make them a little darker in tone and a little more serious, less goofy. That's what this is.
and write
So
them with better characters too.
yeah,
That's another
exactly.
one.
Better acting. Yeah.
Better acting. So yeah, like I guess this is like what Riverdale could have been like if they tightened all the screws up because I'm not gonna hate on Riverdale. I did like the first couple seasons of it, but like I get the hate for it too. Whereas this, like I'd say that this is what they were attempting with that, but like done so much better. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
they wrote the characters to where you didn't want them all to just die
No.
by the end of the
And
season.
and I mean, you don't have to have read the comics at all.
No,
Cookie didn't read the comics. I was very basic. Like I think I've read a few things, like a few issues, not even full series or arcs of it, and I really enjoyed it. So
yeah. Well, yeah, like because you and Spanky read Sandman for the end pod, so you and I'm pretty sure you read up to the issue where they show up at the end of Seasons of Mist, right? And like
yeah, right up to about there. Yeah.
and that's a kind of a thing I'm not I'm gonna I wonder how they're gonna tie it into and I hope they do to the next season of Sandman. I'm not gonna talk about even though Seasons of Mist is like almost a 40-year-old book at this point. I'm not gonna spoil it because it is next season of the show and I want people to like enjoy it. But like basically the events of Seasons of Mist precipitate a giant jailbreak from hell, and that's how Edwin's able to escape. And basically, the school that we're at, gets overrun while Charles is kind of there by himself, and like he kind of accidentally gets killed by the other ghosts, and that's kind
Hmm.
of the big difference in their origins between the show. But like, I'm still hoping that they kind of tied them into the Seasons of Mist show, or
Hmm.
a season of Sandman because like I think that they would be a fun little addition to just throw in like one episode, kind of like they were in the one issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like God, that issue of Sandman is just Oh, I forgot how big of a damn edgelord Neil Gaiman was in those days until I go back and read those issues. Like, fucking hell, like he really was like that dude that was just like, hey, hey, like
Yeah.
he was like listening to like Skinny Puppy, like, and like, yeah, just thinking up like just this awful stuff to write about. But it's all in good, it's all fun too, you know what I mean? I'm not
Hmm.
gonna lie, like it's utterly entertaining. But when you read that issue 25 of Sandman, get ready for a gut punch. Like they did liven it up a lot for the show, and I'm kind of happy about that. I think that if they did the origin from the comics, that'd have been a little too brutal for
Yeah. And they make it very brief, right? They don't make a whole episode out of it. It's to the point and and concise. So you don't it does like they did a good job.
and
Them.
and they use the same morality for it. Like when they
Hmm.
leave the school, it's the same type of thing that Charles tells Edwin. Hell's a place where you choose to stay, man. Like and like if you want to leave with me, you know what I mean. You don't have to stay here. Like this you staying here is hell. You know what I mean, and you can
Mm.
go. And like they kept that in the show. So like I think that in my opinion that's good adaptation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good stuff. And the changes, like you said, I like just changes to update kind of to fit a little better into today's.
Well, that's the cool thing. Like I was saying about the classic schoolboy thing.
Mhm.
Like you can make Edwin 16 and still put him in that dorky British schoolboy uniform because they still had to wear those up until like they
Mhm.
graduated and were able to leave the school and get a job. So like yeah, the fact that he had the ugly dickie with the tie and stuff like that, like
Mm. Yeah.
it still worked even though they aged him up a slight bit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then, yeah, the only thing that was kind of distinguishable about Charles was that he wore a red V-neck, whereas, like in the show, they kind of gave him a red polo shirt with the gold chain, like the ska kids wore, the Ben Sherman
Mhm.
shirts.
Yeah.
What's up, Saint? How you doing, dog? Glad to
Yeah,
see you,
man.
bro. Hope you liked the show, man. Or I hope if you did watch it, you enjoyed it, man, and maybe we'll read some of the comics because Vertigo's good stuff, man. Whether you get into
And
any
oddly enough, I was surprised to see that it was Brubaker that wrote the 4-issue miniseries.
yeah, that actually I'm not sure what Neil Gaiman's original plan because when you first meet Charles and Edwin, they basically just leave the school, and it
Yeah.
was I think 2 years later. Ed Brubaker wrote a 4-issue miniseries called Sandman Presents the Dead Boy Detectives, and this is where they actually become detectives for the first time. So I would really like to get a hold of somebody that might have known how the bullpen worked at Vertigo, and I wonder if Karen Berger and Gaiman got a hold of Brubaker and were like, "Hey, we got these characters, and like, what do you got for us?" And I wonder if because like he does noir, he's the noir guy. I wonder if he was the guy that made them detectives, or if that was something Gaiman was already thinking of. But I would love to get some verification on that. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, because in the issue 50, Sandman, it's just them meeting and leaving the school, right? There's no
Yeah,
like
like
the whole identity of the Dead Boy detectives wasn't quite established in that issue.
no, yeah, it's at the very beginning of the Ed Brubaker when they said that since they left the school, the 2 years they spent reading books and watching detective movies and in haunting theaters, so they can have the movies to themselves. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. And that one has a direct tie to Sandman series as well with a certain character, right? So
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
and like the show, like the book has a very very gory sense to it, kind of a very adult tinge to its
Hmm.
kind of kid whimsicalness because like in this one like they're literally in a clubhouse and stuff like that, and it's a little cuter. I can see where like if they
Yeah.
did young them up, how the show could have worked, and it could have been a lot of fun if they got that special like Stranger Things level casting of kids. Like it could have been magnificent, but like I don't bank on such things happening. Usually kid actors, I hate to say it, are
But I think if you're gonna go younger like that, you'd have to make it a little darker.
yeah, and I think they would be afraid to do scenes like this if they actually had 13-year-old kids there, having
Hmm.
actual like really grotesque looking mummies and shit.
Yeah.
And where they did have that in this show. This show gets very gory, almost over the top in some scenes. I think they relished in kind of like being gross in a few parts, which I thought was kind of fun. You know what I mean? Because like the Vertigo books did push the limit, man. Like at that time, there was they didn't really know, because what happened, why Vertigo got started in the first place, is DC had Sandman, John Constantine Hellblazer, Shade the Changing Man, Swamp Thing, Animal Man, and Doom Patrol. And these books were too adult, but they were selling too well. So DC were like, okay, we'll put these books on the direct market, so they're only sold in comic book stores. And that's how Vertigo was made. So I think like these early years where these guys were doing these really messed up stories like this, I think they were like really pushing, seeing where they could push the envelope. And I think that they kind of did it in a fun way, though, because none of these books suffered for it. Like I laughed about like Neil Gaiman being the edgy kid back in the day, but like he still wrote incredibly entertaining and engaging books. Some of the things that are considered literary masterpieces nowadays, you know what I mean, and they're comic books. So like I'm not trying to discount what they did, but at the same time, like I can see like they really were being like the boundary pushers, and it's kind of cool that like they were able to pull it off with books like Dead Boy Detectives, you know what I mean, and kind of get away with it, because I don't remember hearing anybody really ever bitch about it. And to tell you the truth, all pop culture's done is rip it off. Like I stand on business till the day I die on the fact that J.K. Rowling stole almost everything that she has from Neil Gaiman himself, and I'm not a Neil Gaiman apologist, but books of magic. Like, you're gonna tell me that like Tim Hunter, Harry Potter was not a direct ripoff of Tim Hunter? Get out of here, man. And then like all the stuff like Dead Boy Detectives with the, and then having the nearly headless Nicholas and stuff, like pop culture just really absorbed the stuff that Vertigo did, which is cool in my opinion, and it kind of made it acceptable for having campy horror and like almost a family type show, you know what I mean? Because like as much as I give J.K. Rowling shit, like Supernatural ripped off so much Vertigo stuff too. If you watch Supernatural, you'll be sitting there half the show being like, okay, that's from Constantine, that's from Preacher, that's from Fables, that's from Sandman, you know what I mean? Like you could do it for like every episode. So like and I think I think that that's wonderful, you know what I mean, and I think that that is why comic books are in such a good state that they are, because these forefathers laid these rules and these breaking of the rules in place, I'll say, you know what I mean. And
Okay, I got it. I got an answer for you, Johnny.
yeah,
Neil Gaiman revived the two characters in a crossover, a Vertigo crossover. When the only Vertigo crossover ever done was they did it through the annuals at the end of the year, called Children's Crusade, and that's where he incorporated the idea of them becoming detectives.
okay,
So it was in that crossover, before Brubaker did the miniseries.
Okay. So yeah, and Children's Crusade, it's pretty cool. I haven't read it. It's never been collected in trade because, like you said, it's over the annual. So it's an issue of Swamp Thing, Black Orchid, Doom Patrol. I think there's two issues that are just Children's Crusade, the first and the last issue, and then there's I know Animal Man. All the Vertigo books that had kids in them all had an issue in the and I think Books of Magic had one.
Yeah, they make an appearance in the Books of Magic as well. It's written.
Yeah. So, and Tim Hunter, like, yeah, he's a little British schoolboy too. So yeah, he'd definitely be hanging out with them. But yeah, I mean, and like, there's been some really fun interpretations of the Dead Boy Detectives. Like Joe said, they're the most popular one. This one, I don't know. It's really hard to find too. I don't think they ever did a trade for it either. The Ed Brubaker, it's very good. I think you can probably get the floppies for it pretty easy. I don't know how big of the price. But like Jill Thompson did a really fun manga for them called Dead Boy Detectives. And that's a lot of fun. That and definitely like a lot of the stuff from the show kind of, I think, came from this. This is the first one that kind of played with the idea of Edwin's sexual identity being in question. You know what I mean? Edwin maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Then you have the other.
This one's probably the easiest one to get a hold of. That's not the newest Porn Sack Pikachu one. The one by Toby Litt.
That one's free if you have a Kindle subscription.
and it's very good. The only thing I'd say is read issue 25 of Sandman before getting into this, because this one, it starts with them going back to the school that's still full of ghost demons and shit, and at least in the first part of it, and
Hmm.
it's kind of resolves that, which is cool because they never did return to that in the other Dead Boy Detective stories. So it's cool that Toby Litt decided to at least bring a little closure to their origin. You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's worth it.
that's how it starts out. Then you have you touched on the Jill Thompson. Then just last year, or a year and a half ago, I only read the first issue when it first came out because I was interested to check it out to see what it was about. Was the uh, porn
Zach
sack
Pickett.
Pitchett Petishot or whatever his name is with Jeff Stokely on art, and yeah, that was in what? Yeah, December 27th, 22, and finished in May 24th of 2023.
Yeah,
And
it had Jeff Stokely on art. Yeah, it was. I only read the first. I got to get the trade for it too. I was really hyped for it because I love porn sex work. You know what I mean? The Good Asian and
okay, so they took stuff from that porn sack run. They took some of those ideas and put it into the show,
okay.
kind of like the Edwin's romantic angle that was introduced in this series by
Okay. Well, I mean, I remember they really had that heavy-handed also in the episode of Doom Patrol that they showed the first episode
Mhm.
or the third season or fourth season, which
Yeah.
was another great adaptation of the Dead Boy Detectives. It's what got this show pilot greenlit, but it's a completely different cast. None of the kids are the same, but like they were also really good as the
Mhm.
characters, the ones that were in Doom Patrol, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. Uh, and it's a good, like, it's not gory. Like I think the books reflect the show pretty good, or vice versa, like in tone. Like you said, there's some gory parts in the comics, but not too much.
And it's the same in this show. Like
Mhm.
the case in the haunted house with the dad listening to Yes, like that's probably the goriest one because they show the hammer or
Mhm.
the axe killing several times and
Mhm.
like that. But they never really show close-ups though too. You know what I mean? Like so.
They'll show like a blood splatter on the wall or something, and they'll cut to that, so you don't really see the actual. There's maybe that opening one because that's shocking, right? You see it a little more graphic there, but then it always kind of cuts to another shot, right? You don't like they don't go too overboard with it.
Yeah, like yeah, it's tasteful. You know what I mean? Like it,
Hmm.
it it does what it needs to do. It doesn't really overstay any of it. Like there are parts of the show that get a little too silly for my liking, and like those are never drag on too long either. You know what I mean?
No.
Like the show really understands that. Like okay, let's keep that moving. You know what I mean? Like that was
Yeah.
okay. Let's move on. It doesn't stay on too much. Too
Yeah.
which is good. You know what I mean? And I thought that it had good pace and for the
Hmm.
most part, really good character arcs and motivations. I don't think that. I mean, the
Yeah.
one.
Every character gets their moment, right, in this show, which is I liked it, and it was very well handled. Uh, like from the Walrus character, everyone has their little moment in the show where they really kind of elaborate or develop the character to a point where you're like, okay, they're important to the story. So it was great. I thought it was well done.
I also really liked all the different animation styles that um they used during the show and kind of flashbacks and stuff. It kind of reminded me of the comics because like uh usually like especially in like the Toby Lit one, like they had different artists like throughout the book and stuff. So I don't know. It kind of reminded me of actually reading Dead Boy Detectives, where like the flashbacks would be drawn by a different artist, even if Victor Santos was doing the main art in the issue. Like just fun stuff like that that really kind of made me think that like these guys read the shit out of these comics and wanted to do them justice. You know what I mean? Like I'm here for it. You know what I mean? Especially coming off of watching Fallout. This was like the first big show I watched after that.
Mhm.
This had like a really really unfair bell curve to keep up with, and goddamn did it keep up with it, because I
Mhm.
like the show almost as much as I like Fallout. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
this is an 8.5 for me, man. Not quite a 9, but like, oh my god, like, because like there was some CGI, like, but I think that they did some of the spotty CGI on purpose to be funny, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, to keep with the tone, kind of.
Yeah, because some, yeah, you look at some of the CGI effects and you're just kind of like, that's kind of ugly, but like you're like, okay, I get it though. To keep, like you said, because the show has a visual style that it doesn't
Mhm.
break. There's the coloring, there's the focus of the film. Like they graded it at all a certain way, so it just has this beautiful lush look all the way through it. And like, yeah, I think that they kept the CGI kind of spotty to stay with that. You know what I mean?
But I think it also goes to show that maybe HBO Max or Warner Bros. Wasn't as committed to it. So maybe, they held back on the budget a bit for the effects. So maybe that's something that might improve a little bit on the next season now that Netflix has it. We'll see.
Yeah, because in Sandman the effects were gorgeous. You know what I mean? As good as
Hmm.
you could get on TV, like the little
Hmm.
dragon and shit. Like, oh man, like,
Hmm.
so here's hoping. Like, I really, I know I love this show, and like I've seen some positive stuff around, but like I also haven't seen anybody really talk about it either. So like I want to get as many people as I can to check this out. It
Yeah.
is unbelievably good, and like I said before, like if you're one of those people that like say you love comics but you're tired of the superhero stuff, like this is your alternative, man. This is what you've been saying been waiting for. Like, and it's good. It is damn good.
Hmm. And I think the show even elevates the what's in the books, what's in the comics, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, it really made me go back and really want to read the comics again, and and check them back out. And like I did, I read the Sandman 25, I read the Brubaker series, and like I said, I don't have Children's Crusade. Otherwise, I would have read the hell out of that, because
Yeah.
it's like drawn by Chris Bellacchio, and like,
Yeah. And the porn sack one, I think the trades are available now. So if people want to hit that up, those are available. I think there was 2 arcs for that, so I think you have 2 trades if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Hmm. So, yeah, and Jeff Stokely, man, he's a good
Oh,
artist. So.
now that you've seen more of Dead Boy Detectives, do you still have your opinion of the art in that book? Because I remember you were like saying that you didn't think the art really fit the tone, what you thought the tone of the story
Well,
should be.
I was just hoping for it to be darker. Like the covers are dark and moody, right? And and I thought the insides were a little more.
That's the Vertigo trade, though, man. Like,
Yeah,
look at the Sandman cover,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
look
yeah,
at the art. Look at the
yeah,
Dead Boy Detectives cover. Like
yeah,
they always did that to you, man. That's a lifelong fan. Like, I could have warned you about that one.
yeah. And the covers were fantastic for the other run too. With whatchamacallit, the what's the other
The
writer?
Corinthian,
No, no,
James.
no. The other series that we could get on
Oh,
Kindle
Toby
with
Lit.
Toby
Yeah,
Light. With Toby Light, the covers for that series, all those covers are
yeah.
fantastic. So,
Mark Buckingham. He did all the covers for Fables too, like
yeah,
Chef's Kisses.
beautiful. Yeah, beautiful
Yeah,
stuff.
he's a Vertigo all star, man. He all star.
Yeah.
Can't fuck with Mark Buckingham, dude.
Mm.
Oh, dude, like you should see the borders that he draw, like in Fables. Like you would be so impressed just by the borders that he drew around like the pages of his books. Like, and Mark Buckingham's a psycho. Like he's crazy. I don't know why he would do that. All the border drawings that he draws around like the gutters in his books, but like fuck the detail that goes into those. Like,
I think I read the 2 first trades for Fables.
no, you told me you only read the first one, the
The
noir
first
one.
one?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you didn't like it, and I understand. Like that is not a good representation of how the book goes. Like they just kind of
Yeah.
wanted to introduce you to the characters. Like the rest of the book's not a detective mystery. It goes like kind of into like the politics and the craziness of like
Mhm.
the Fables community here on our plane, where like they
I'll
like live
I'll
in a
I'll probably give it another go because I played the
Bigby the
Wolf.
Wolf game.
Yeah, and I really liked it. I thought that was really good. The Telltale Wolf Amongst Us or whatever it's called.
Oh, I
It
mean,
was really good.
there was a spinoff comic for that too. Like he had
Hmm.
his own comic. Like if you just are
Yeah,
interested in that too.
Bigsby something. Yeah, it came out like during the pandemic, I think.
Oh, he had one before that too. Like I
Mm.
think it was a mini series. Yeah, like Fables was huge. Like it was like Sandman.
Yeah.
It had a ton of spin-offs. And yeah,
Well, how many?
Cinderella's
That ran for how many issues? Quite a few, no?
it's back running right now. Like they're
Ah,
doing new issues for it as we speak. Like it's up to almost 200, I believe.
yeah, yeah. I knew it was over 100. So, mm,
Yeah, it's I think the second longest Vertigo book after John Constantine Hellblazer,
mm,
longest running. Because yeah, I think Sandman went to 70, Lucifer went to 74, 100 Bullets went to 100. Yeah, they don't. I mean, like they. That's kind of how they ran their stuff. You know what I mean? Like they
yeah,
didn't try to do forever titles except for John Constantine Hellblazer. Like that's the only one that ran forever until they decided not to run it anymore and ruin John
yeah.
Constantine.
I'll have to give it another go.
What Fables? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like, but like, it's a lot of reading. Like I said, man, like,
yeah,
there,
but I mean,
but like, it's good stuff. But like, I mean, like, yeah, like, I would like to turn a lot of Big Tuesdays into like talking about Vertigo because, like, whether people want to admit it or not, it is DC. You know what I mean?
hmm
Even though I don't like to admit
I
it
mean,
either, as a snob, as a Vertigo snob.
whatever. I mean, yeah, they're still free the first few trades on Kindle, so I'll
Yeah,
read all the free stuff and then I'll
if you can
see
get
what I
past
get.
book 4, March of the Wooden Soldiers, and you're not into it, like, then go ahead because that's
And
my
give up.
favorite, man. That is so good.
Let's see. Let's go find out how many trades are free of this on Kindle. Let's see. That would be two,
If they have the
three,
hardbound,
four,
the deluxe editions, then just read up. That would be the book 3, where March of the Wooden
three.
Soldiers takes place.
So
Yeah,
the first three volumes are free on Kindle, so I could read the first three easy.
yeah, read those, and if you're not into it,
Yeah,
you probably won't get into it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So
Because all they do is just introduce more and more characters. You know what I mean? And kind of rotate the cast and kind of change focus on who it's kind of about. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then they get into the war and the homelands. You know what I mean? Eh,
volume
yeah, it like,
volume four is free as well.
but I mean, there's so much good
And then
Vertigo to read
volume
before we get to
five,
Fables. You know
volume
what I mean?
yeah, volume five is free. So I could read a huge chunk of it just from Kindle. So yeah, or fuck, I'll just get the sign up to the DC Universe app or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So good stuff. The show was great. Uh, I enjoyed it. I know Cookie enjoyed it.
Oh, one last thing, man. How'd you like? I love that the show had a format and stuck to it. They introduced the case. They kind of showed how the case played out, and then they showed the aftermath, and like it had the title cards and everything. The
Mm,
client. I love that it
yeah.
actually kind of had like an old cop show format that like it jokingly like stuck
hmm
to like every episode. Like that was a kind of fun thing that they worked into the show that I thought worked
You,
very well.
you know what? I would have laughed a lot as if they didn't straight up copy the Law and Order, the dun,
Dong dong,
but
yeah,
yeah, but like ripped it off a little bit when they show the cards.
yeah.
Would have made me laugh if they would have done that. But yeah, I enjoyed that. Every time I saw a card pop up, the Law and Order thing popped into my head every time.
Yeah, it was a great format. You know what I mean? I thought it was,
Mhm.
and I thought it was cool that they stuck to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of the last thing I wanted to bring up.
yeah. No, it's it was good. Yeah. Mm.
But yeah, man, if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend checking this out. So good, dude.
Yeah. And I think Sandman's dropping in August, if I'm not mistaken. The
Oh,
second
really? As
season.
I knew that it got delayed because of the strikes. So
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, August. Sandman
cool. I think it's
season.
coming out this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to come in August. Uh,
And
I'm
yeah, we're probably gonna. Yeah, I guess we'll wait for around then to do the first season of Sandman. We'll talk about that right before the second one comes out because I absolutely love that show. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely watch that. That is a near
mhm.
perfect show.
Yeah, Sandman's really good as well. So yeah, and it's beautiful that they have both properties at Netflix now. So like they can do a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah, at this point, I kind of wish that like DC would just sell them like at least the Sandman side of Vertigo, so like they could do like a Corinthian movie because I like boy, what's his name? I think that they could do a really fun like American Nightmare show or like a miniseries or movie with him just kind of mobbing around being a psycho. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of Sandman spinoffs. There's been so many. I kind of wish that I think they still own the TV rights for Lucifer because they were putting out the TV show. I would love that if like after Seasons of Mist they do like their own Lucifer spinoff. That's fucked up
Hmm.
like the comic books, man. Like that would be so good. As much as I like the Sandman, like the Mike Carey Lucifer comic book is infinitely better. Like that is just such a good comic book. And like if they did an adaptation of Lucifer like that, I'm there for it, man. Plus, I like the actress that plays Lucifer, anyways, man. She's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good casting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there were people that were angry about it, but screw them, man. She looked exactly like Lucifer in the comic book, so
Hmm.
whatever. You're gonna talk about, and then like angels are supposed to be ambiguous. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be what's the word for it? You're not supposed to tell what they are sexually. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be very pretty. I can't believe I can't remember the word. But yeah,
Okay, so yeah, uh, it's still slated for late fall or early 2025. That's what's written here. So it did get pushed back. You're right.
androgynous. That's the word I'm thinking.
Mm.
Yeah, I figured like most things.
With the strike and everything, yeah.
Oh man, three body problem. Yeah, we did that a couple weeks ago. Fuck. There's a lot in that show too. Like, oh my god, that one's like Dead Boy Detectives. You get like a year's worth of just information to digest in Three Body Problems season one. Like, oh my god, you're gonna spend so much time just thinking about like what the fuck were they talking about, but in a good way. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think it's that hard to understand to tell you the truth, but like, yeah, that's a whole nother bone. Like, oh, we
Mm.
could get back into that one. So I've been thinking about it since I watched it. So like, uh, but yeah, man, enjoy that shit too, Saint. It's good stuff. Yeah, Netflix has been kind of killing it lately, man. I know that people still be hating on them all the time, but the City Hunter movie was dope. Like I used to rent the OVAs of that from the video store. Like that's based off of old school anime from Manga Entertainment that I'm used to. Like they did a live action movie for that from Japan. I didn't see the Yo Yo Hakusho. People seem to hate that. I didn't really like the anime for that, anyways. But like with oh man, the shows that I've watched recently, man, like Three Body Problem and this Dead Boy Detectives, yeah, Netflix be killing it.
Mm. There
So
was the other one that people were saying was good, where the murders take place in different
oh,
periods.
Bodies.
Yeah, bodies. Yeah.
It's also a Vertigo comic. Maybe Netflix does have a deal with Warner Brothers for their. That would be just ideal. You know what I mean? Because Warner Brothers doesn't know anything besides Batman exists in the DC universe. You know what I mean? They're never gonna touch most of this Vertigo shit,
No.
and they don't care about it. You know what I mean? Like if they don't care about Sandman, they don't care about anything that Vertigo ever put out. That's what that tells me. And then at this point, like I'm begging them, dude, let them do a John Constantine Hellblazer show in the style of Sandman and fucking Dead Boy Detectives, please. I am so here for it. If you're not going to do anything with John, give him to Netflix, man.
Yeah.
Please.
And you know what? Joseph Gilgan, cast him as John.
Yeah. I want to see him blonde.
Oh man, if you watch Brassic, there's a scene where he wears a beige trench coat and he has his bleach blonde, and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, he could totally pull off John Constantine, man. It's crazy.
And like, yeah, dude, give Netflix 100 bullets, man. Like, there are so many like Vertigo comics that I could see Netflix just doing killer shows, especially if they put the same type of talent that did Sandman and Dead Boy Detectives. And it like I keep saying, Dead Boy Detectives is such an unknown variable that they got an adaptation like this. Oh, dude, like it's something. It's just beyond words. It's amazing to think that something like that was able to happen. And yeah, I guess I'm being greedy, but I would like to see it with other properties I grew up and really loved that were big hits in their time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, kids have forgotten about them, but people go back and buy them omnibuses again, Vertigo and DC. If you put out a bomb ass Netflix show for them, motherfuckers,
Mm-hmm.
goddamn.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to leave this, man. Adaptation, it is getting really good. We're getting to the point where they're actually making good video game movies, like not just one. There's been so many good ones that have come out lately. So we're getting to the point where like people are actually understanding how to adapt most things properly. And
Yeah,
you know,
it's awesome.
that's a good thing. I'm here for that because as much as I like certain things staying in their own lane, I think that having the bigger, kind of more important, bigger, kind of more hypier things being represented well in other medias always has a positive. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I know that there's the people with the Alan Moore state of mind, and I get it. I do understand the artist meets the forest and the struggle and all that. But at the same time, like, then don't write things that are so goddamn important, Alan Moore, and people won't try to make movies out of them. You fucking asshole. Just churn out. Don't write the most important comic books ever. Like,
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I think when it comes to Marvel and DC, they try to. It's a spectacle now. Like they got the big budget, and I think they kind of lose sight of
well,
the bigger picture. It's I don't know.
they just don't understand really how to tell stories. That's a good thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Joe, because it reminds me of like it's kind of funny. Crystal's powers and the way they work and the way that they're kind of described to you, it's almost parallel to the show Echo and her powers and the way that they were passed on to her. But it was done so much smarter and so much better in
The Dead Boy Detectives.
detectives. Yeah, like they did a lot of other people stuff that I kind of saw in big two shows that got flubbed done so much better on this show.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I think it's because they knew how to tell it
Well,
in the story. You know what I mean, they
yeah,
knew how to
exactly.
work.
Because I think when you have a smaller budget, you rely more on the story, right? Whereas if you have, I think things get lost when the budget's too big. Like it becomes like, okay, Michael Bay is fine if you like those type of movies, but not every movie has to be like a Michael Bay movie where it's big action, shallow story. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That's why I like some of these smaller budget productions because, like you said, they really rely on the story to really get the message across, and they have to come up with more creative ways of visually depicting it or presenting it to the viewer, right? Which
Yeah, they're like, we got the budget for like one big CGI head coming out of water, like, and then that's all you guys get to make it work. And that's kind of what they did with Dead Boy Detectives. Like,
yeah, so mm, yeah,
and I think it does make it stronger for it. You know what I mean? Like,
mhm,
and I,
yeah,
they do. They need to realize that their budgets are going to be shrinking because there are not people not returning because of the quality of their stuff, and like they should start to learn how to rely on smaller budgets because they're going to have to, because
yeah,
I don't think like they're going to be able to pour as much money into the Disney Plus Marvel shows as they were originally. And you can kind of tell with the Star Wars ones when that what's that new one, the new live action one. It looks so cheap, man, and it's what people have finally been asking for. It's a Knights of the Old Republic show, and what is it called, man? It's got an A word.
Andor.
Not Andor. It's not Apprentice, but it's something like that.
Odalese or something, or
Yeah, that one. It's going to be a Knights of the Old Republic
with
show,
a
but
lightsaber with the blood doing the saber was one of the. Anyway, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. Sorry, I know it's May the 4th, but yeah, I don't hate Star Wars, but I'm not like.
Oh, is that why James Edward Clark posted the Star Wars pictures? Okay, god damn.
Yeah.
Like I just saw that and I was like, haha, I'm gonna make fun of Fulci. I had no idea it was Fulci's least favorite day of the year.
I'm sure Fulci didn't even go log on today because it'll be all Star Wars shit all day. So happy May the 4th to all the Star Wars fans. I'm not a hater. I like some of the stuff, but
like Andor was good. I'm glad you brought that up. That was
I
probably
haven't watched that yet. That's one of the things I need to watch still.
And I do. I gotta agree with Neil Mann here. Like TV shows are better than movies right now, and like that's insane to say, but like they're better written, they're better casted, they're more entertaining, they say better things more concisely than movies. Because movies are like really muddled now. They try to say something like it's kind of more like,
and it's become like one cameo after another.
Yeah. Acolytes.
Acolytes. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, so. And it's like they all have to be interconnected, and it's like, I'm just fed up with it.
Well, the sad thing is like I still keep up with all of it, and like, to tell you the truth, like with most of the MCU stuff, I don't like a lot of the shows, but the movies I'm still there for a lot of them. But like Star Wars, like, they need to do a new movie. You know what I mean? The shows. Like I like Mandalorian. I did like third season, even though a lot of people shit on it. I liked what was the
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka. I thought it was mid. You know what I mean? I hate to use that term, but it was all right, man. Like it was the Star Wars show that made me feel the most like Captain Kirk. You know what I mean? I was really attracted to a lot of the aliens on that show.
Well, I just saw that Visions. I'm gonna have to watch that. Star Wars Visions. It's kind of, I think each episode is its own little story with different styles of animation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'll have to check that out. That looks like it might be interesting. Yeah.
Kind of like what you were hoping. What if would be.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna check that out. It looked cool.
Yeah, we're in a really golden age for shows right now, man. Like a lot of fun stuff like I've been watching. So I think the only thing that I've watched lately that I really disliked was that John Krasinski Jack Ryan show. That was terrible. Like that's kind of like the only bad show I've watched recently. And I'm watching quite a bit of shows, man.
Was it Baby Reindeer? We watched that. What else was there?
Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, that's a Netflix. Some weirdo stalker type.
Okay, I was gonna like. It sounds like a fucking little kid show. You know what I mean? Like
it definitely a psychological thriller, maybe drama. Anyway, it gets deep into like personal drama, personal trauma.
Yeah, well,
how it affects. Yeah.
But a stalker, you said? So yeah, I can imagine it being pretty
like obsessive. Like so, just how trauma affects people in different ways, right? So
yeah, no, I've seen it. I seen the anime Perfect Blue, so like yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's going to be kind of similar to that, I'm guessing, but like more drawn out and more scary, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you like Perfect Blue and you like what we're like, I want to be fucked up even more. Like yeah, check this show out. Like right on. Like Satoshi Kun wasn't crazy enough for you. Go ahead, man. How about you? We got baby reindeers and shit.
Yeah. Upload. We watched the third season of that. That was all right. Yeah, I mean, It's great with the streaming services. It's too bad that there's just a million of them now, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I like. I think the big ones still put out the best stuff. You know what I mean? To tell you the
Mm.
truth, I hate
What?
to say it. I'm not counting Max as one of the big ones. I'm talking about Amazon, Netflix, and Hulu.
Yeah.
About the stuff they're publishing.
Um.
Max, I like Max, but like I watch it on my friend Jaime's account. Like I don't have my own. Like
mm,
I ain't paying David Zaslav shit either. Fuck fuck Warner Brothers. Like
Watched. What is it? The uh, Late Night with the Devil. That was okay.
oh, dude, like I want to rent that. Like I kept seeing the trailers for it. Like so that's good. Like
Do you
I've
have
heard.
Do you have Amazon?
Yeah, I have Prime. Is it free on Prime?
Uh, if you get your 1 month of AMC Plus, you can get a
Okay.
month free. That's how I did it. I got a month free, and it's on there.
Oh, because it's on Shutter, huh?
Yeah, Shutter, and AMC are like just pretty much almost the same
Okay.
channel
Well,
now.
because okay, cool. Well,
If you
no,
have Shutter,
AMC
you can get it on
AMC
Shutter. Yeah.
owns Shutter. That's how come I knew that you were talking about
hmm
Shutter when you said AMC because
Yeah.
like they own it. Like I think Frank Nicotero, the guy that uh did The Walking Dead, kind of took it over for Frank
hmm
Darabont. Like he owns Shutter, or like he's a big player in it. Like he does the Creep Show and a bunch of the shows that they have on
Yeah.
Shudder.
And then there's
So
that other horror movie called When Evil Lurks or something like that.
huh. There's a bunch of really good looking horror movies. There's one called Night Shift about like this girl that like is like a security guard at this crazy haunted hotel. Looks really fun.
Mm.
Let's see. There's that Nicolas Cage movie that just came out. I haven't seen it yet. Arcadian, like that looks
hmm
really good. Kind of like a better version of A Quiet Place, or like a version of A Quiet Place I might enjoy.
Mm.
I should like A Quiet Place more. John Krasinski does die in that movie, but like I don't know, it's not impactful.
I'm not. I don't hate it. I
I
enjoyed
think
it.
the thing that I hated the most about it is like the hype for it and the fact that you couldn't say anything bad about it when it was out. It was like with that perfect movie that like you can't say it. Like the Babadook was another one. Like the Babadook was a fine movie, but like I hated the fact that you like everybody was so uptight about it. Like
Yeah. But I think the kid actor's so bad that I enjoyed it because he was so bad.
you like torture him, get him. Don't let that fucker sleep.
He wasn't a very good actor. But I don't know. It just added to like the movie for me. Like
Yeah, man.
I could see that the actress didn't have to act. Like the kid actor was so bad that it was like driving her crazy. The one playing the mother, she's like, "Fuck, this is
Like
this
dream
is,
job
this is
for
a
a lady that
nightmare.
always
This
dream
is
job
a
for
nightmare."
dream job for a lady that always wanted to play an abusive mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, try to beat some good acting into that kid. Didn't work. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, and I love this conversation we've had afterwards, talking about all the kind of weird horror that I think all still kind of ties into the book we talked or the show we talked about.
hmm
You know what I
hmm
mean? Like the kind of
Yeah.
odd, goofy, unkempt horror humor, whatever you call Dead Boy Detectives. It's great.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, if you guys stuck with us, if you guys check this episode out, we really appreciate it. And yeah, we really hope you guys enjoy the show if you watch it. You know what I mean? That's what we just want to do. Try to get people to enjoy the show. So take it easy, y'all.
Apologize for the audio issues. They'll be resolved for the next time.
Oh, you sound fine, dude. It just
Yeah.